November soup combos are truly an intervention of sorts, and when you pair them with a salad or a sandwich, it's such a warm, comforting meal. In today's cooking, I'm going to be creating a warm red pumpkin and walnut soup, and because I'm still thinking about the taste that we had with the pumpkin pie, I'm just going to use the pie spice straight into it. Pair this along with a tomato bocconcini and basil bruschetta, and you have a simple, holistic and decadent meal to enjoy. Let's get to creating it. While my French baguette is sliced and toasting in the oven to give it that beautiful crunch, here I'm going to add about 10 to 15 ml of olive oil and get to creating the warm red pumpkin soup. So I just want some flavor, so in goes 5 grams of butter into that, just to scent it, along with 2 red chilies that I just slit into half, the fresh kind, and about 8 cloves of garlic. As the red chili and the garlic sweats and scents the olive oil and salted butter emulsion, in goes 1 red onion finely sliced, and we're just going to allow it to soften. This soup happens really fast. You allow it to cook to the slowest possible temperature and then just blitz it. It's that simple. As the onions have just about softened, in goes about 100 grams of walnuts, and this is going to give it that very warm, wintry kind of flavor, along with about 800 grams of red pumpkin dices. Just put them right in and allow it just to saute for about 4 to 5 minutes, but firstly with the gorgeous pumpkin spice. So about 1/4 teaspoon of clove powder going in, about half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder going in, a slight sprinkle of some nutmeg powder, so about 1 gram to 2 grams, not too much, you just want the flavor to be there but not too sharp, and not forgetting out here some dry ginger powder, so about 2 grams of ginger powder as well. Allow all the spices to infuse with the pumpkin, the onion and the walnuts just for another 4 to 5 minutes before adding in some hot water and allowing this to steep, soften and get to its glorious creation. Seasoning this becomes really easy with some Himalayan pink salt. You can go right ahead and use any variant that suits your fancy. Sometimes I also go a little overboard and add some rosemary lavender sea salt just to give it that burst of freshness. Now what happens out here is when your pumpkin soup is so heavily laden with the pumpkin spice, you need a contrast herb, light, efficient, yet not too overpowering. So here I've got about 3 tablespoons of flat leaf parsley, and we're just going to allow all this to saute with each other. Slightly, not too much, you do not want to burn the herb, and in goes about 4 cups of warm water. Out here, the beauty of a pumpkin soup is that it allows you to explore and get a little innovative. So this is a great way to add vegetables that are really not a hot favorite in the family. Like you can add some red carrots, you can add some haricot beans, but just make sure the pumpkin overpowers it so that you blitz it and nobody can tell the difference. With this coming to a roaring boil, we're just going to simmer it and cook it covered for about 30 to 35 minutes till it's ready. We're going to cool it down and then just go right ahead and blitz it. Soup simmering and my French baguettes perfectly toasted, and they just give you that gorgeous crunch. All we're going to do out here is just set it, put a spread on it and do one of the most easiest of bruschettas to create. Now while I'm creating a bruschetta with tomato and bocconcini, you can go right ahead and use some grilled zucchini, you can add some artichokes, you can add some steamed shoots of bamboo and create a quirky yet new age one. But don't forget my lifesaver, that is my basil pesto that I always have stashed away in my fridge. These bruschettas of mine are more like a DIY where you can just explore and do it yourself. But the base is really simple to create. So here I've got 4 tomatoes that have been de-seeded and cut into dices. And we're just going to put it into a bowl. No fanfare, no drama, that simple, that easy. I've got 250 grams of Boconcinni cheese that I've diced again, and that's going along with that. And I'm just going to allow a little bit of its gorgeous brine to mix with it. A fine sprinkle of some celery sea salt, some freshly milled black pepper. And since this is a DIY where you have to create your bruschettas for yourself, and it's quite a lazy version so that everyone can enjoy, here I've got about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of this gorgeous basil pesto going in, just to scent and elevate this creation, and it makes it so much more easier for people to create their own bruschettas. Lightly toss it all, the green merging in with the white and the red of the tomato, and this is ready to go right on top of that gorgeous toast that we created. Now you can lightly smear your toast with basil pesto, and if you are as obsessed with basil pesto as I am, that's something that you should most likely do to give you that overburst of flavor. Into a bowl this goes, and chill it till it's ready to be enjoyed. I'm just going to create a small version of this to show you how to create your own DIY version of the same. My cook's treat, so a small bruschetta, an overload of this gorgeous basil pesto going on top, and a dollop of this gorgeous creation. It's such a simple, fun-loving thing to have. And don't forget a fine sprinkle of some freshly chopped basil, and you're ready to enjoy this. Having pureed the gorgeous creation that we created, the walnut and the red pumpkin has given it that beautiful color with the pumpkin spice just accentuating this creation. All I'm going to do is adjust the seasoning a little bit and switch off the flame, and this goes into my old-fashioned soup tureen ready to be enjoyed. While this can be enjoyed all by itself, the bruschetta is just that added zing that's required with a fine sprinkle of some freshly shredded basil on top. Any leftover soup works really well, where all you need to do is put it into a bowl, freeze it, and defrost it and enjoy as and when required. I hope you enjoyed creating this gorgeous creation with me, the red pumpkin and the walnuts, with that added hint of a pumpkin pie spice just adds to that warm and welcoming goodness that is perfect to enjoy in this weather. The tomato and bocconcini bruschetta is just that added zing that's required to have a wholesome meal all in itself. Don't forget to share loads of love by hitting on the like button, and as I always say, don't forget to subscribe.